significance for me and my family. I mean, not only just because we're Indigenous, but I mean, it's the procession of the stars, the moons, the planets. It's amazing. And so it's really a gift. And it shows us that, you know, we've gotten through this entire year to get us to this moon point. And it's a gift. It's a gift that, you know, it's a time of contemplation. It's a time to really understand, you know, all that we've gone through, and then look forward to the year ahead, the next year that we have. And it's a gift. We've made it, and unfortunately, we have lost so many beautiful people along the way. So I send so many condolences out to my friends and my family for the people that we've lost this year. And I know that we'll get through it as long as we maintain our community and we maintain our connections, and we take care of each other, because that's really important. In the winter, that's what we need to do. We were always coming together to share our stories and to share our songs and to be able to really connect deeply. And it reminds us of the bear, and that's how the bear would roll. He would, you know, always just rest for the winter, to contemplate the year ahead, and to really take in all that's happened from the year previous. And so that's really how we have to be. We have to be like the bear. The bear was like the leader. He showed us so much. He teaches us so much on a regular basis, and we just have to really honor those teachings that come through us and come to us through those animals that surround us. But before I get into all of those teachings, I wanted to start with just welcoming everyone into the circle today. I always love to start with that land acknowledgement, not just those empty words that people sometimes hear at special events, but to really dig into it and understand why we do it. Because I think a lot of the time when we hear those words, sometimes they lose their meaning. And so I think it's important to really dial it back and figure out what your place is in that land acknowledgement. I am Cree, Anishinaabe, and Métis. I'm from Muskeg Lake Cree Nation, which is in Treaty 6 territory. But I live here in Mulkinstis in Treaty 7 territory. And I have lived here for a long time. So I moved here in 92, and then I moved away, and then I moved back, and then I moved away, and then I moved back. There's just something really magical that keeps pulling me back here. And so the most recently, I've been here for the last 13 years now. And it's such a gift to be here. I am so thankful and humbled to be here. And so I honor all of the people who have, you know, led the way before me. I honor all of my elders from many, many different nations here. So I honor the Blackfoot of Siksika, Kainai, and Piikani. I honor the Circe Dene from Tsuut'ina, and the Stoney Nakoda from Morley, which includes Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations. I've learned so much from all of these nations and the teachings that are connected to this land, to the river, to the mountains, to the different buffalo jumps around here, even the sacred circles, those natural sacred circles that pull us together, where we have those ceremonies together. The songs and the stories, they're just so enriching, and if we take the time to get to know them and get to know people, we actually can learn so much about ourselves, which is why it's so beautiful and so important to acknowledge the people who have come before us, you know, the families that have been here for thousands upon thousands of years, and just all of those teachings that they carry. And so I honor that, and I think it's such a blessing to live here. I honor the Métis Region 3. This is why I always wear my Métis ash, because I'm Métis as well. Métis literally means mixed, but they paved the way to, you know, to really build that foundation for what Canada is. They were saying, well, I mean, they're considered the true Canadians because they were a mixture, well, we are, we are a mixture of settler and of First Nations, but coming together to create a whole being. This is why our symbol is the infinity symbol, because it's going to continue to go on and on and on and on. And it's like all people, we all have the opportunity. Oh, hi, Eunice. But just to welcome everybody in a good way, I wanted to share with you the Cree welcome song. Oh, I forgot to mention that when we do the land acknowledgement, it's about acknowledging the relationship that we have with each other and with the land. Especially now, I think it's really important to understand that we're part of the land. We're not above it or below it, we're part of it. And so we need to really honor our place on that land and honor the relationship that we have with it. Honor the responsibility that we have to learn about the past so that we can build a better world for all of our future generations. We make mistakes so they don't have to. This is what I try to explain to my kids all the time when I'm giving them advice. It's because I've lived through it and I've messed up enough that they don't have to. And so this is also part of that land acknowledgement, is that being humble enough to learn and to admit when we're making mistakes, but also to be wise enough to correct those mistakes gently and not shut someone down for making those mistakes, but help them to learn and help them to grow and to move forward. And this is why the Cree welcome song is so important. And so traditionally when we sing songs, we sing in rounds of 4 to honor the 4 directions of the medicine wheel. But this song is a little bit different. We sing it in rounds of 3, and that's to keep the circle open and welcoming so everyone completes the circle today. Because in a circle, we're all connected. There's no beginning, there's no end. No one is greater or less than anyone else in the circle, just like in the hoop of life. So it teaches us to honor each other for those differences, because if everybody was exactly the same, the world would be incredibly boring and nothing would ever get accomplished. So we need those differences to deeply connect with each other, to learn from each other, to build a thriving community. Because if it's just farmers, then we're missing out. We're missing on the artists. We're missing out on the engineers and the teachers and the caregivers and the healthcare workers. We need everyone in that circle for the circle to work. And so when we sing this song, we honor everyone in that circle. And it teaches us to honor each other without judgment and just to welcome everyone in and to know that even though we're not going to agree 100% of the time, it's those moments that we can come together and find those compromises. That's truly what makes our community resilient. And so Miasin, which is the Cree welcome song, it doesn't just mean welcome, it also means beautiful. And this is from the Natauhau family from Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation. And so I'm very thankful for them keeping this song and this story alive. And so, here is the Cree welcome song. I'm going to stand up. Miasin, miasin, hasemina, hasemina, epetakote, niwagomagan, hota, homa, kitaskino, miasin, miasen, hasemina, hasemina, epetakote, niwagomagan, hota, homa, kitaskino, miasin, miasen, hasemina, hasemina, epetakote, niwagomagan, hota, homa, kitaskino. Hi, and welcome welcome to the circle today, everybody. So, today is a special day. Not only is it the day after solstice, which is super sweet, and I wanted to just wish Happy Hanukkah to my Jewish friends, Merry Christmas to my Christian and Catholic friends, Happy Kwanzaa to all of my beautiful African friends. And whatever you celebrate this time of year, I think it's really important just to reflect on the whole meaning of that celebration. It's not about the presents, which are awesome. I'm like, my kids are totally jacked on that, but it's really about the connection that we share with each other. And even though we can't be physically connected, it's important that we, connect emotionally and spiritually and reach out. We have all of this wonderful technology. Shoot somebody a text, give them a call, Zoom them. I'm really excited. I'm waking my kids up early tomorrow and they're not going to like it, but we get to go on a Zoom call with my great aunt and my Coco, my grandmother, my uncle who's going to be zooming in from Edmonton, my other auntie who's going to be zooming in all the way from Ottawa. Oh wait, no, she's not in Ottawa anymore. She's in Newfoundland, which is amazing, because she retired and moved to Newfoundland, because apparently that's what you do if you live in Ottawa. And my other auntie who lives here in town, but we haven't really been able to see each other, my mom. And so it's going to really be a blessing, and we're hoping that we can get some of our American cousins and my American auntie to dial in too, but I'm going to send them another message on Facebook after we're done here so that they can join us, because I think it would really be a beautiful way to just, connect and honor our family. And I'm going to wake up my kids so that we can all be on that call together, even if they're disheveled with messy hair. I think it's just a blessing to be able to see each other and speak in that way, no matter where we are. And getting up a little earlier will be fine. I will make coffee. Well, for myself, they don't drink coffee, but I'll need it. Another reason that it's really, really special is because we have this beautiful, beautiful drum that was made by me. So I'm actually going to talk a little bit about how I made it. And so when I do medicine wheel teachings and when I make drums, I really honor all four directions of the medicine wheel, depending on the kind of hide that I'm going to be using, depending on how they're woven. They have different teachings behind them. I always start with a smudge. I always end with a smudge whenever we're making drums. Even the drumstick has all four directions in it. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about my medicines as I kind of talk about how this drum was made. And so this drum is actually made out of deer. But if we look on the back, the lacing, it looks kind of like a snowflake, which we have a lot of those right now in Calgary. We've gotten a dump of about 25 centimeters of snow. I couldn't get out of my driveway this morning just because I was totally wedged in, so my son had to walk to work, which he was not too pleased with. But yeah, so anyway, back to the snowflake. It's just a really beautiful design. This is Mi'kmaq. My teachings behind the Mi'kmaq is they had to be adaptable. Like the weather out there changes on a dime, so you have to be able to adapt really, really quickly and also sense those things coming. So it's really about honoring your intuition and knowing what's coming at you, but also having the patience to wait for things to happen, having the patience to adapt to those situations and to wait it out, because sometimes you have to wait out those storms before you can go travel, or sometimes you have to wait out those storms, with your family or with your friends, or sometimes even with people that you don't like if you get snowed in somewhere. But it's really just about acknowledging that we all have the ability for patience. We all have that ability to wait. We all have that ability to adapt. When we make this drum, we have to adapt to the way that it changes in our hands. And that reminds us of how the Mi'kmaq have had to adapt for many, many generations, not only to the weather, but they were the first point of contact for pretty much anybody who came across the pond. And so they had to adapt to different ways of learning, different ways of speaking, different cultures, and whatnot. But they always did it with grace and with humility and with so much beauty and knowledge and wisdom at the same time. And so that's part of what this is, but also the patience. If we rush to make this drum, the whole thing falls apart. You can't pull too hard or else one side will suck in more than the other side. You really have to go through all of those steps. So it teaches us to take the time and be really diligent and really, what's that word? really intentional with every step when you make this drum. But it reminds us that sometimes with our life we have to be really intentional and really patient with every step that we take. I think now in our society we just rush and rush and rush, but sometimes we just need to take it slow and, you know, enjoy every step, enjoy every movement, enjoy every moment, because in those moments is when we find the biggest learning. It's the journey to get there rather than just that destination, and that's really what this drum teaches us. And so it's a blessing to be able to share that. The drum itself is made out of deer, and deer is our connection to Creator. My story around deer is deer was one of the first four-leggeds ever created. So when Creator made the earth, of course, the first thing, it was water, tons and tons and tons of water everywhere. And then the fish were kind of swimming around, and as some of the fish touched the air and dived back down, Creator thought, wouldn't it be amazing if I created something that was connected to the air? So as the beautiful fish leaped out, the birds started soaring around. And so as the birds started soaring, they realized like they were getting really tired. And Creator thought, okay, well, I'm going to probably have to create land. And so, of course, there's a big story attached to this as well, but the turtle offered herself and created land on her back. And so as the birds touched down and took off, touched down and took off, and rested, Creator thought, wouldn't it be beautiful and amazing if there was something that was connected to the earth? And so as the birds touched down and took off, they became the deer and the gazelle and the bighorn sheep and the goat on many different continents. And so those were the first animals that were actually used to make drums, not only because their skin was really easy to use to make drums, but because they were the lightest of the medicines. Even when we watch them leap, you can actually see them leap the highest, because that's that closest connection that they have to Creator outside of the birds. And so this is why deer drums are really important. Deer drums are really good for meditation, for prayers, for your connection to spirit, for healing a lot of spiritual trauma, spiritual pain. Also, we use it oftentimes on vision quests. So whenever we're going on a vision quest, we'll use deer. All four directions are painted on the drum, which I'm just very, very thankful. So Sam Baghetti, absolutely incredible artist. His painting is just stunning, and everything he does is just so different and so beautiful and unique. He has this one motif, but he just does incredible things with it. And so I'm really humbled that one of my creations that I put so much love and passion into, my drums, kind of merged with his creations that he put so much love and passion into to create this beautiful being. And everybody's like, just do the draw already. I will. But quick teaching about the drumstick. This drumstick is made out of red willow, and the red willow is starting to flake off a little bit, but that's okay because it's medicine. And the stick is connected to our body, so it represents the earth. When we look at the hide is deer, so it represents spirit. It represents our connection to the spirit. It's the part of that touches the drum, so it's the part that gives it's the drum its spirit. It gives the drum its voice, because the voice is our spirit. When we squish it inside, we have wool. Wool represents blankets, and blankets are the women's medicine, so it represents that warmth, that being wrapped in the women's medicine, which is connected to water. And then the sinew, all of the sinew is the fire that binds everything together. It's that stitching. And so all four directions are in this beautiful medicine wheel, or in the beautiful drumstick. So I'm going to sing the four directions song, and then I'm going to do the draw for the drum. And so the four directions song is Wendeaho. And yeah, it's also known as the Cherokee morning song because it follows the sun. I knew it as the four winds song because you can hear the winds whipping around and traveling through the four directions. But no matter what it is, it's humbling to be able to share it. So I'm very thankful for that. And so this is Wendeaho. thank everybody who contributed and put in your bids, all these beautiful, beautiful people in the background. And just to show you what the little numbers look like. So as people chose numbers, I had a big spreadsheet, and I put like a little X beside the numbers that were sold. So this is what the teeny tiny, oh, I don't know if you can even see that. They're tiny, little numbers. I was intending them to be bigger, but they printed really small, so I didn't have time to reprint it because I had to do this drop. So that's what they look like. So this is what we got going on. All right, here we go. Let's see here. Okay, so the itty bitty number that I have in my hand is, what number is this? 70, 70, which is, who won that one? 70, 70, 70. That is Lisa. Lisa, you won. So I'll give you a shout after, and I will get your address, and I will drop that off tomorrow if I can shovel out my car in time. So, but yeah, thank you to everyone else. So that's Lisa H. I will be giving you a shout afterwards. So number is 70, 70. Thank you guys so much. I'm hoping that Sam and I can team up and we can do another one. Hopefully before the Valentine's Day Memorial March, because it would be really nice to be able to have enough funding so that we can actually pay the elders what they're worth. We do get a little bit of like some gift cards from UFCW 401, which is lovely because we have the opportunity to buy all of the food that we get to share. Although I'm not sure what the event is going to look like this year, because normally we have all of that food to share, but I'm not sure if we're going to be allowed to share food this year. But in any case, with those gift cards, we can't buy tobacco. We can't buy sacred medicines. We can't, honor people for their time. So it gives us the ability to do that. And so I'm very, very thankful and humbled for everyone who put in that money and knowing that it's going to be going to that event. It's just such a gift. So congratulations, Lisa. Thank you so much, everybody else, because I think we all won. And I'm looking forward to the Valentine's Day Memorial March. Hopefully we're able to all gather by then, and if not, I'm gonna have to think of creative ways to do some online programming but still honor our elders and our knowledge keepers and our drummers. So hi everybody. That being said, now this one belongs to Lisa, so it's not mine anymore, so I'm not going to play it without her permission. And so I'm going to grab my drum, and I'm going to actually share the bear song. So I talked a little bit about how the bear rests. So this season is the time when the bear is, he's resting, he's reflecting. And we need to do that in our own lives. We really have to kind of see the gifts that we've had. Even though that we've had all these challenges, they have taught us so much. The Thunderbird also teaches us that no matter what we're going through, we go through it for a reason. But the bear gives us that moment to reflect. The bear is really about honoring ourselves and replenishing ourselves. When we come to the solstice, well, the sun has been, it's been waning, essentially. So everything in life is like a macrocosm and microcosm. And so with the way that the moon wanes and waxes, that happens on every 28 days. But the sun, that happens every year. And so when the solstice is happening, so the summer solstice is when the sun is at its fullest. So it's the full moon. Whereas when we get to solstice in the winter, that is when the sun is at its lowest. It's its darkest point, but it reminds us that it's okay because it's coming back, and that sun will return, and it'll come back brighter and brighter and brighter for longer hours. And so even though it's considered the darkest day of the year, it actually gives us hope. And the bear taught us that. The bear knows that. So I'm going to share the bear song, which has a very special meaning for me. The bear song was one of the first songs that kind of started to come back to me. I remember hearing it when I was young, really little. My mushum, my great-grandfather, used to take me walking, and he used to share all these songs and stories with me. But then when he passed, it was almost like all of those songs and stories just got buried with him. But then fast forward to moving here to Mohkinstsis and actually being able to drum and sing and share with elders and those stories and those songs coming back. And it was like this reawakening, and I was so thankful and humbled that this song really, this was one of the first songs that I was like, I know this, I've got this, and I remember the teachings behind it, and I was so humbled and thankful. And also my little guy, when he was just a baby, he loved, this was his favorite song. Whenever he was fussing, I would just sing the bear song and he would calm down. And whenever he was fussing and I was overwhelmed, I would sing the bear song and knowing, okay, the bear knows this will pass. And so it was also a gift that way. Reclaiming our culture was really a gift for my parenting skills. So that's how I broke that cycle of intergenerational trauma with my kids, was through reclaiming my culture and honoring who I am, knowing that that legacy of residential school wasn't something that I was going to pass forward to my kids. And so I broke that cycle by honoring who we truly are and honoring those teachings, honoring those songs, honoring those stories, because they teach us so much. And so this is the Anishinaabe bear song. So I'm going to share the healing song. This is also called the crying song or the wailing song. And you can hear the tears. And I've seen amazing things, miracles happen with this song. And it used to be a ceremonial song, so we only used to use it in ceremony. But things things have changed a lot, and there's been a lot of elders who shared this song in ceremony and have said, now is the time that we're transitioning, that we need this song, we need to be able to come together to heal and to grow together and to forgive each other as a society, but also as a people. It all comes down to that macrocosm and microcosm. You have to heal inside so you can share that healing outside. And that's really what the song honors. It honors that everyone needs to heal. So in this song, we drum, we have that heartbeat. That heartbeat that's that healing beat. That's that women's beat. That's that ceremony beat. It's the heartbeat that's within each and every one of us. So it reminds us that that's the first sound that we hear when we're in our mother's womb, and the second that we feel throughout our entire being. And so when we come out into the world, we're looking for that. We're looking for that connection, and that's what the drum is. That's that heartbeat of Mother Earth. It reminds us that everything has life, has a pulse, has a connection to each other. And this is what we really need to honor with this song, is that connection and the healing that we need to learn by coming together. But in the song, we actually stop drumming. So we sing it 4 rounds. The 3rd round, we actually stop drumming. And in that silence, I'll invite you to, think of those people that need healing. Think of the year that you've had. Think of the people that have gone through so much, whether they be people you know or outside of your circle. It doesn't matter. We're all connected. All our relations, all my relations, that means we are all related. And so one thing that happens to one of us happens to all of us. And so it's really about praying for anyone who needs that help, anyone who needs that healing, anyone who's going through incredible things, who've experienced, pardon me, incredible loss this year, and really praying that they have that gentleness in their heart, that they can move forward in a good way. Sorry, but I'm going to be holding a few people in my heart when I sing this song. Then when the drum beat comes back in, don't forget to pray for yourself. But when that drum beat comes back in, you just let those prayers or those intentions, those wishes, those hopes, those thoughts, that energy, you just let that out to the universe or creator, God, Allah, Buddha, the big spaghetti monster in the sky, whoever you pray to, whoever's energy needs to do that work. That's who you honor. And just trust that that work will be done. And so this is the Cree healing song. So, I want to share a song about finding your voice. So, I want to thank my elder Carrie Moore for sharing this song, and it really has helped so many people along their path, not just women, men, Two-Spirit people, everyone really find their voice in who they are. And usually I do it as a call and response because it is truly about finding your voice. So it's going to be weird doing it as a call and response without somebody here to share with, but I'm going to trust your singing at home. And so the story that I have behind this song is a long time ago in our tribal days. Traditionally, women would go berry picking, and they would take all of the kids with them. They would take, all of the kids up to the age of 12. So in Cree culture, once you turn 12, you're considered on your path to becoming a man or a woman, or if you're a Two-Spirit person, then you would be coming into your own as like learning all of the teachings of the nation so that you could carry all of those forward. You had a lot of responsibility as a Two-Spirit person because you carried all of those teachings with you. And so, but at the age of 12, men would be or boys would be on their path to becoming a man. So even though they would sit with women in ceremony constantly throughout their childhood, as soon as they turned 12, they had to go hang out with the men, and learn how to hunt and learn how to really honor and respect women, because they would have a great deal of, understanding and empathy, and understand exactly how much that women do for the nation. I mean, they were the ones who kept everything running, because the women were in charge. That's what matriarchy is. It's not really like patriarchy where it's like a top-down system, but the women make sure that everyone is taken care of, that everyone's voice is heard. And specifically, the grandmothers were the ones that did that. And I don't know about you, but you just don't argue with a grandmother. You don't argue with my cookum. She's a terrifying woman. Nobody argues with her. So, but it's really important to like honor and understand why it was like that. And it was because the grandmothers did take care of everybody. They made sure everyone's voice was heard and that everyone mattered in that circle. And everyone was accepted in that circle. And this is what it was about. And so when the grandmothers and the aunts and the mums and everyone would go berry picking with the children, and if you were a two-spirit person, you would choose. You would either go berry picking with the women or hunting with the men. But you would always learn your place in both circles. But as everybody would go berry picking, the grandmothers, of course, would sit at the biggest bush so that they can keep an eye on everybody. But for the most part, they would be watching the babies. And if anybody knows how babies explore the world, they put everything in their mouth. And so the grandmothers would be like, oh, like, don't eat that bug, or spit out that dirt, or don't chew on that pine cone, or, ooh, are you eating a rock? Don't chew on that rock, or spit out that bug again, or don't eat that grass, or don't eat that plant, or put the squirrel down. Squirrels don't belong in your mouth. I don't even know how you got it. But this is how babies do. And then, of course, the aunts, and they would be, picking all of the berries. The little kids would be running around, listening. The littler kids would be listening to stories of the elders, because once an elder couldn't go hunting anymore, they would, of course, be the story keepers. And so they would be listening, and the little kids would be, of course, generally sticky, because that hasn't changed in thousands of years. Kids under the age of 5 are generally sticky. The older kids would be running around, playing with sticks, practicing shooting bow and arrows, hopefully not at each other because that's super unsafe, but climbing trees, skipping stones, having fun, doing things that, kids love to do, exploring the world, because that's how you learn. The teenage girls, of course, would be off, not really picking as many berries as they should be. They'd be gossiping and talking about their crushes. Like, oh my god, did you see that guy's moccasins? He is like so cute. Yeah, that hasn't changed in thousands of generations. And then, of course, the mums and the aunties would be the ones picking all of the berries for the nation, for the year, because in thousands of generations, not a lot has changed. And then as everyone was kind of be off doing their own thing, and it was time to go, the grandmother would call out. But she wouldn't say, yo, where you at? Because that would be ridiculous and totally not relevant to the era. But she would call out using this voice. And as soon as you heard that voice, you knew that was your grandmother calling you. And so I would hear, oh my gosh, how's my cookum's voice go? All right. I'm like, oh, well, that's my cookum. I should probably call back. So I call back. She'd be like, oh, well, that's Chantel. Awesome. And then I'd hear other voices. All right, cool. There's my cousin Megan. Then I'd hear, all right, there's my sister from another mother of Anna. I hear her over there. And then I would hear, there's my son Lyndon. I know he's over there. And then I'd hear, hi, hi, hi. That's my mom's voice. I can't even do it with a straight face when I was like, there's my mom. And this was really important because then you'd know it was time to come home. But this was always really important because in times of war, or in times that was not safe, you would have a safe camp, but you wouldn't just walk in and be like, hey, is everybody okay? Because you didn't know, right? You didn't know if it was safe. You didn't know if the camp was compromised. You didn't know if you were being followed. And so you would wait. You would wait until silence fell and until darkness fell. And then you would call out. And then I would listen and I would hear, I'm like, all right, there's my friend Ashlyn. I know she's over there. And then I would hear, there's my Auntie Georgie. I know she's over there. And then I would hear, all right, there's my cousin Stephanie. I know she's over there. Then I would hear, whoop, 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 whoop. There's my cousin Michelle. I know she's over there. A little bit weird, but every family has one. Then I would hear, all right, there's my son Lyndon again. Awesome. And then I would know that it was safe to come home. And we'd celebrate the fact that we found each other again, and we would honor those that were missing. And now we don't use our voice like we used to. I mean, I do, because I'm a crazy person. So I use my voice everywhere. I use my voice, of course, at events, rallies, protests, whatever, because as soon as I call out, people are like, oh, there's Chantel, awesome. Or one of my friends was like, we're coming, Mama Bird. But I use it at like Walmart or the grocery store, and so if I've lost my kids, I will call out because I am done looking for them. So I'll call out, ah, ah, and then I'll hear, all right, there's my son Lyndon, usually in the electronics section, awesome, and then I'll hear, Mom, could you just not? You're embarrassing me. All right, there's my son Cloud, usually in the deli, and then the girls will just be behind me going, really? You do that in public? So really traumatized for life. But no matter what, I find them every time. And when we use our voice, it's actually more than just a sound. It is part of us. And so when we're trying to find our voice, it's really important to understand that it comes right here from your belly button. So your belly button is your spirit. That is, your connection to spirit. It's your connection to your ancestors. It's where we were fed while we were, being brewed inside our mothers. And so this is where we get a lot of our information from. And this is why it's called our gut instinct or intuition. And it's never, ever, ever wrong. And Carrie actually had told me, our head can trick us, our heart can trick us, but our spirit never lies. So if you can't figure out who's saying what, talk to your spirit, because it'll always be right, 100%. So when you're looking for your voice, that's where it's going to come from. So you'll take a deep breath, and then you'll let it out. So sometimes it can get caught, it can get stuck in different areas, especially if you haven't found your voice or haven't heard it ever or for a very, very long time. So you got to kind of assess, where is it coming from? Is it coming from here because I'm overthinking things, or I'm worried too much about what other people are going to think of it? Is it coming from here because a lot of times I just say things for the sake of saying them, but I'm not actually sharing my truth? Is it coming from here? Or is it being blocked? Is it not coming out at all? Is it getting stuck? Because this is where we stand up for ourselves. This is our voice. This is where we connect to people. And are we not speaking up for ourselves? Are we not speaking up for our friends or our family or the things that matter for us? Because our voice will be held down here. Is it getting stuck here in our shoulders or in our back? So those are pressure from like friends or family or work or school. That holds our voice down a lot because it's the voice that we put on for other people. Is it getting stuck here in our heart? Because that's where a lot of our pain or trauma or sadness, that dwells there. A lot of our self-love, anytime we have a really hard time honoring who we are and loving ourselves, it'll hold our voice down too. So just recognize that you're a sacred being. You deserve love, and the first person who should love you is yourself. And so as soon as you have that connection, that love for yourself, you'll be able to help heal that voice and get it out. Is it getting stuck here in your tummy? So this is your self-worth, like your self-doubt, or anytime you say something negatively to yourself, your self-esteem is right there. So if you're like, oh, I can't do it, or I'm not worthy, or I suck, or I'm not good enough, or, well, somebody else is better than me, don't compare yourself to others because you're never going to go anywhere. But just know that you're amazing. My favorite quote is, we're not afraid to fail. We're afraid to succeed beyond measure. So succeed beyond measure. Be you. You're incredible. Is it getting stuck in your belly button because you're simply not breathing deep enough and connecting with your spirit? So no matter where it is, and it can get stuck in multiple places, just find it, honor that, and push it out. And sometimes when it comes out, for real, you'll laugh hysterically because you can't believe that sound came out of your body. Sometimes you'll cry because it's the first time you've actually heard your genuine voice in so long, and it carries a lot of stuff with it. Do it multiple times, and sometimes you'll have memories come out, sometimes you'll have trauma come out, but no matter what, it's purging all that stuff, and you'll feel amazing, and you'll want to use your voice all the time. So you could be the crazy person in Walmart, just like me. So at the end of the song, we're going to let out our voice. But I'm going to break down the song and teach it to you. So I'm going to trust at home that you guys are singing. And so the words are pretty complicated. It's Weya Heya. You guys can repeat. Weya Heya. Weya, weya, heya. Weya, weya, heya. Yeah, that's it. So we're going to squish that together. Weya, heya, weya, weya, heya. Weya, heya, weya, weya, heya. Awesome. So we're going to sing that through 4 times, but I'm going to teach it to you. Weya, heya, weya, weya, heya. 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 Awesome. So we're going to sing that through 4 times under the 4 directions of the medicine wheel. But the 3rd time is when we actually get quiet, because that's that time in the story where they're looking for their safe camp. And so once we find each other, then we're going to celebrate. We're going to get really loud. It's going to be awesome. And then at the end of the song, we're going to do a fast drum beat. That's called a prayer beat or an honor beat. And then we're going to just let out our voice, and you're going to freak out your neighbors. It's going to be fantastic. So, awesome. Woo! There we go. Now we found each other, so we're going to get a little bit louder. Snow between me and my neighbors right now, so I don't think I could live in not a house because I'm too loud of a human. But I'd like to share actually the Thunderbird song and the traveling song before I go. So I consider the Thunderbird a traveling song, but I'm going to actually share 2 songs. So the Thunderbird teaches us that everything happens for a reason. And I think sometimes, especially when we're going through something really, really difficult, it's hard to see that. But in retrospect, we'll be able to see it. I know that what got me through really, really hard times was this song. So when I was hit by a truck, 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago now, oh my God, there it was really hard because I couldn't walk for a month and a half, and I've had 4 hip reconstructions, and in that time I couldn't walk for 6 months at a time after the hip surgeries, and so I had a lot of time for contemplation, and I had to realize that everything does happen for a reason. It shows you how strong you are, and if it wasn't for that accident, I wouldn't be on the path that I'm on now. And that accident gave me the confidence and the reassurance that I was on the right path when I was sharing drumming and singing in teachings and stories. And had it not been for that accident, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in now. If it wasn't for that accident, I wouldn't have met the amazing people that I have met. I wouldn't have gone into the schools that I have. And it's a gift. Every time I think back on it, yeah, it sucked. It sucked getting hit by a truck, but it put me exactly where I needed to be. And every time I think of this song, I think of that with so much joy. And every situation that we're thrown into, we have an opportunity. We can either, be sad about it, which, you can be sad about it a little bit, but don't stay there. Just try and realize, okay, why did this happen to me? What do I have to learn from it? And sometimes if we keep getting the same negative situations over and over and over again, it's the Thunderbird trying to teach us lessons. And eventually it's going to give us a swift kick, which is, that's kind of what happened with the truck, and put us on the path that it wants us to be on. And it's a blessing, not getting kicked by the Thunderbird, that's not fun, but being on the path that we're meant to be on, because we let that unfold in front of us, and it's a gift. And the Thunderbird helps us to get there, sometimes in a not so gentle way. So our intuition is like our internal Thunderbird, kind of nudging us in that direction. It reminds us of, honoring the ancestors that have brought us here, and honoring those future generations that are yet to be born, because we're somebody's ancestor. And this song really reminds us that, we're part of that. We're part of that path. And it's not a linear thing, but it's a circular thing. So to honor that. So this is the Anishinaabe Thunderbird song. So anytime you're going through something and you need a little help, this definitely helps you. So the traveling song, it's funny because it left me for a while, but then it came back, and it brought back all the memories of the elder who had taught it to me originally. And so I think this time of year is really important to reflect on the elders that have left us, or the people that have left us, but also to honor their memory. It's not about being sad about it, but it's about appreciating the time that we did have with them. And so I really miss a lot of the people that we've lost this year. I miss people that we've lost in previous years. But I loved and appreciated the time that I did get to spend with them. And so you can't turn back the time. You can only move forward. But you have to remember the teachings that they left with you, or the stories that they left with you, or the way that they made you feel, so that we can move forward. The traveling song is really about continuing to move forward, but knowing that all our paths will lead home. And so when we sing it, it teaches us that home is where we make it. And it isn't a place, but it's a feeling. It's really about getting to all of our destinations safely, but honoring that journey that we connect with each other on. So this is a blessing to be able to share it again. And I thank my friend Ashley and Yolanda for bringing it back. I thank my elder Sharon for originally sharing this in the lodge, and I may miss her a lot, but her teachings are still with us. And so I honor Daphne, who we lost this year. I wish I could have spent a lot more time with her, but every moment was so gentle and so loving, and I really appreciate her. And so hi to everybody for being here today, and congratulations, Lisa, for winning the drum. Good luck with the year ahead, guys. So I consider this the new year because it's after the solstice. But our Gregorian New Year starts in a week, so I will be back on the 28th before New Year's to wish everybody a happy Gregorian New Year. But this is the traveling song. Please travel safe out there if you're here in Mohinstis. Enjoy the snow. Don't drive if you don't have to, because that travel is not safe. I got wedged this morning. But yeah. I love everybody, and happy Krishna Kwanzaa. Have a wonderful holiday. Thanks again, everyone. Chimagwich. Have a beautiful holiday. However you celebrate that, just know it's really about connecting. Reach out. If somebody pops in your head, just send them a message, because it's important to enjoy and appreciate every moment that we have with the people that we care about. And so, hi, everybody. Have a beautiful week, and I will see you next week. Stay warm. Gwitch. Hi.